Hello guys! Welcome back to another recap from NM Revived. Spoilers ahead. Take care. But before we begin the video, please subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell. On Thundering Nights, Gideon Fisk holds a talking book made of human skin in his hand, admonishing the Drifter to use his conscience when in trouble. Gideon dropped it in surprise, but picked it up again, defiantly. Wanderer descends into the mansion's basement and bravely hangs himself while mocking a haunted book. However, the talking book laughs triumphantly, disappears when Gideon unknowingly obeys his wish decades later. The landlord, Bart, brings in for schoolgirls he hired to clean the vacant mansion for a weekend in preparation for new tenants. Roxanne complains about cramped rides and poor pay, so her friends teasily advise her to monetize her body. Even teases the landlord, who remains clueless. But her nerdy friend Megan naively explains her friend's joke. Next, Wheatley Cleaning. A representative of her company signs the contract, and her assistant, Terry, tells her friends that a short stay is in order. Bart also reminds her not to bring her friends to her mansion to avoid her strange occurrences. They then made sure the house had electricity, but the phone was not working. So they advised me to use the house next door if needed. Complaining, the quartet gather their belongings and cleaning supplies and settle into a large house. Inside, Terry reveals that the mansion has a haunted history, saying the previous tenants suddenly left the crazy house in the middle of the night. Meanwhile, she orders her companions to check the facility. Suddenly, her neighbor Mr. Hinchlow approaches Megan, surprising her students. She informs him of her brief stay, which seems to please the older man. He then goes to the house and introduces himself to the others. In the kitchen, if you come this far, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Let's continue. The three find the space well kept and are happy to get chores done quickly. While they stocked the refrigerator, Megan walked in with Mr. Hinchlow. So Terry introduced her team to her neighbors. Concerned men, she reveals, have only become accustomed to their faces, so their bodies can be identified for police if necessary. Confused by his strange warning, Megan asks what he means after the strange neighbor leaves. Terry decides he should start cleaning the basement while it's still sunny, so the others can follow suit shortly after. The cleaning lady descends into the basement and jokes that the missing body is buried there. Fearing the dark, Jean, Roxanne, and Megan huddle together while Terry turns on the lights. Despite being scared, the three women tease each other. Terry tells her friends to focus on cleaning up, so others can get to work. Moments later, the reader finds an old suitcase containing foreign banknotes, prompting her cleaning lady to gather around the suspicious storage room. Unaware that the label is a warning, Terry opens it and stinks. Inside is a skull and a dagger. The distraught quartet decides to continue cleaning the basement tomorrow instead. Terry still takes some of Trunk's curios and thinks he can trade them for money. When a thunderstorm hits that night, Jen and Megan prepare a meal and join the others in the living room. Meanwhile, Gideon's ghost appears outside and materializes a cursed book in his hands. Inside the house, Roxanne dances provocatively with an antique radio on. How she seduces men. To her friends, Megan praises her friend's performance, so Roxanne teaches her seductive techniques, but her shy geek shuts herself up in her room. Suddenly, the doorbell rings, so they check to see who it is. The three students found Gideon standing in the doorway, with his bag in his hand. Confused, Terry tells the stranger they don't live in the house. But Gideon hands her the package before leaving, and claimed that it might be perishable. The convinced leader opens the package and finds a cursed book with a monstrous face, but the women can't read the foreign language text on the page. So Roxanne takes the clever friend upstairs. Meanwhile, Megan admires her reflection in the mirror. but her self-doubt overwhelms her. Then Roxanne appears and tells her confident friend that she has an attractive body. She then informs them of a strange foreign book they need help reading. I think it's a fantasy. As the two reunite, Megan flips through a page with a picture of a monster and reads a Latin spell that swears her body to an unknown entity. If you come this far, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Let's continue. She then reads the footnote and does not read the text above. Be warned. This warning comes too late, but the quartet does not take their writing seriously. This causes Roxanne to inform her friend that she is expecting company in the middle of the night and is against her landlord's rules. Later, Terry, Jan, and Megan go to bed while the stubborn friend becomes obsessed with book. Upstairs, Megan becomes intrigued by Roxanne's plans due to her inexperience in dealing with men. Jan and Terry reassure her that her men can also be seduced. Before her trio get ready for bed, meanwhile, Roxanne struggles to open her bottle of wine, unaware that Gideon is watching her mansion from the outside. When the clock strikes her 12 o'clock, the giant image disappears from the book and transforms into a cartoonish beast. In the kitchen, Roxanne stumbles and quietly carries a cup and a tray of wine into the living room where the beast is hiding. The student then puts on her sleepwear, unaware that a cartoonish beast is staring at her. As she begins to drink, Roxanne hears the beast and looks around in confusion. A monster of libido attacks a woman on the ground and stains her when she screams and wakes up her friends upstairs. When the noise stops, Megan thinks Roxanne is in trouble, but Terry and Jean think their love affair is over quickly. To ease her worries, a nerdy woman calls out to the couple on the stairs, while the beast drags Roxanne's corpse, who forgot to clean herself. Explains that the blood in her mouth was from a cut. He then tells the innocent woman to go back to her bed, while she waits for Roxanne's boyfriend, Biff. Realizing the man is still not there, Megan hastily retreats to her room upstairs. She informs her friends about Roxanne's strange behavior, but Young and Terry shrug their shoulders indifferently. Roxanne's friend Biff arrives while the beast enjoys freedom from the book. She leads an unremarkable man into the living room and immediately lunges at him, while Gideon watches the monster from the outside. The beast suddenly bares its fangs and flogs the frightened man, awakened by Biff's screams. Megan decides to have someone check on the couple. Jen assumes that her Megan only wants to see her lovers in action and convinces her to interrupt herself at his landlord's house. Bart is hesitant to answer a late-night phone call, but he does anyway. Mr. Hinklow reported the screams he heard and the man's car parked in front of the mansion. So Bart refused his wife's advances and left. Meanwhile, Megan discovers a misaligned tapestry downstairs and finds Biff's body. Jan and Terry hear their friend's terrifying cries and arm themselves with flashlights and silently descend the stairs. To find Megan in front of a corpse, and Geek realizes that the tapestry is the soul cloth draped over the dead, to offer his soul to Satan. Shortly after, the drunken landlord knocks on the door and demands entry. Left with no choice, the trio drag Biff into the kitchen, fearing he will be fired if Bart sees him. Outside, the beast meets an impatient landlord and leads him to the backyard. Meanwhile, the trio gather before opening the front door, only to find Bart gone in the basement. If you come this far, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Let's continue. The beast shows Bart the suitcase with which all the madness began. It then seduces the man, and Bart relents, thinking he is making out with Roxanne. In the living room, Megan notices a drawing of a beast missing from an open book. On the next page, Megan reads the text as Jan sees a picture of the dagger she found. They learned that a previous summoning had released the beast's spirit into the world of the living, intent on killing and collecting souls. Unfortunately, Megan doesn't read the instructions on how to kill the beast with the shroud and dagger. However, Jean and Terry disbelieve the scriptures and decide to find Roxanne. Believing that she killed her boyfriend in the basement, the trio find the lights on, but no one around. Terry is exhausted and sitting in a chair as the soul shroud falls and Bart's corpse is revealed. The trio scream in horror and find Roxanne's dead body in the trunk. When an unseen force pulls Megan's hair, panic causes the three women to rush outside. When Terry returns to her home, she reassures her friends that she believes someone else is the killer, and dismisses the idea of a living beast and suggests calling the police at Mr. Hinchlow's house. In the kitchen, the trio are left defenseless, finding Biff's body gone along with everything in the drawers. Rushing back to the living room, the women run into their neighbors. Jen confirms Mr. Hinklow's suspicions about the haunted house. So an older man shows the students to the front door. He suggests they dress up because of the bad weather. But Terry goes to get a dagger instead. John doubts the old man's knowledge. And when they turn around, Mr. Hinklow has turned into Roxanne, unknowingly. The trio confront their friends. They speculate that Roxanne and the guys are pranking them, which Beast admits. Angered by the joke, Terry convinces her friends to take revenge. So they go to the basement, where Roxanne claims the men are hiding there. The trio slap Biff and Bart to stop pretending, but they don't respond. Suddenly, a demonic voice is heard from inside Roxanne's body, declaring that Megan was right and that her friend was dead, cornered by the beast. Megan realizes she must stick the dagger into the demon's heart, but Terry leaves it upstairs. To retrieve it, Jen throws a box at the beast to make it run, but the monster grabs her to the ground and kills her. Terry quickly barricades the door as the two survivors arrive at the house. However, a loud crackling sound is heard above her head, suggesting that the beast broke in through the window. Unfortunately, the two cannot find the dagger. So Terry grabs an iron bar from the furnace and confronts the monster. A woman wants to take revenge on her friend. As they confront the enemy upstairs, Beast lunges at Terry and kills her, while Megan falls down the stairs. However, I was unable to concentrate on translating foreign texts. When the Beast approaches the lone survivor with the soul shroud, he orders Megan to read all the spells aloud. If you come this far, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Let's continue. To unleash her familiars before they can devour them. Suddenly, Gideon appears at the doorway and confronts the terrifying demon. The beast mocks the bravery of the wandering spirits, even after sorcerers brought their eternal doom years ago. Nevertheless, the sorcerer vows to right his wrongs and eradicate otherworldly creatures from the face of Earth. Gideon attacks the beast with an ancient dagger. However, the demon overpowered him. So Megan confronted her fears and hit her with her wine bottle. When the animal flips over, the sorcerer quickly pierces it through the heart and restores it to its cartoon-like shape. When the beast limps back to the book, Megan rushes to throw it into the fire and sees a terrifying face weep. As a result, the cartoon beast disappears and the wizard burns the soul cloth, reflecting the misery of the devil. Gideon, who has successfully completed his life's work, introduces himself to the wounded woman by bringing an ancient book to their land. The wizard reveals how his quest for knowledge caused all the monsters after his death. Gideon's ghost was waiting for someone to break free from the book to kill the monster once and for all, and Megan successfully provided the leverage so the wizard's curse was lifted. Despite her victory, Megan blames Gideon for her friend's death. However, the sorceress reveals that her friend is alive and claims that her beast never existed. Gideon bids her farewell with her gratitude, and his soul is finally ascend to the afterlife. As the sun rises, Megan, unaware of the dangerous encounter, meets Terry, who thought her friends were partying last night. Mr. Hinklow then enters the house cheerfully over a cup of coffee. Shortly thereafter, Jean, Roxanne, Biff, and Bert arrive, all dazed and confused. When everyone is gathered, an old neighbor suggests watching cartoons on the portable TV. Recalling her comic encounter with the devil, Megan screams in terror. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe the channel for more videos.